Hello, guys, welcome to today's episode. I want to talk about something that came to my mind recently and how I think, how I realize that, how I perceive, and how you guys or everyone perceives the world directly comes back to you, not in a way that you are able to manifest something into your life with just thinking about it. Like some people do believe, I do not believe in that. But on the other hand, you are able to um, basically the way you think about things vastly and very much influences probably every outcome and everything you notice. Oftentimes we overlook things because we are biased by our own experiences. We don't manage to see things for what they are and just see them how we want to see them. A person who's insecure, a person or a person who's very angry, or a person who's very happy, they all have one thing in common. They don't see things for what they are, they inflict their own belief system onto things. For example, someone who's depressed and maybe didn't had any friends in his life for a long time will at one point, if he sees another person being kind to him, don't believe it because he's biased from his past experiences. On the other hand, the other person who is not happy but who's boldly naive just had good experiences with human beings in his life or her life, and because of that they have this bias about people or things that they can't get rid of, and they just go with it because that's the way they know it. In my opinion, it's very important that from time to time you ask yourself if that what you're doing right now really is, excuse me a minute, that the thing you're doing right now really is objectively the right thing, objectively the right thought pattern, because oftentimes we just tend to get our own ideas about something in the room before we have known it ourselves. That happens naturally with us human beings every time we engage with someone for the first time, every time we see someone for the first time. We put them in certain boxes, these people, and it's not so easy to get them out of there once they're in there. You you basically see a person and predict how they are in the future. That way you take yourself and them the wonderful ability to change. That's the reason many people can't compromise when you want to change something about yourself, that you became frustrated with something and you now are about to change it, and while doing that you change a lot as a person, because if you want to do something that you never have, you have to do things that you never had done. And because of that, these people they can't comprehend why you are doing this, because they had a picture of you in your mind and thought that you would always be like that, not intentionally harmful but rather self-securing. If we would analyze everything at any moment forever, we basically are not capable of doing that. Our brain isn't fast enough or For example, the sight you have is very limited. You think that you can see everything that's around you right now. I'm able to look at myself in my video camera, but still I'm able to see the uh, glass of water right there. But in reality, our brain also predicts where what is gonna be at that moment. With micro movements in our eye, we basically scan everything from time to time. And if you really think about it, you can't see everything clear at once. Basically, I'm looking at one thing right now clearly, and if I want to, everything other that I don't directly look at is somehow uh, not sharp in my sight. And that's something that you have to realize, that oftentimes our brain uh, desperately wants to save function energy, and because of that we tend to go with this repetitive patterns that we want to go. For example, this doesn't only apply to how we perceive people and how we don't want or don't see their changes. On the other hand, we are also limiting ourselves with these predictions. Our brain, once it gets hooked onto something, once you did something over and over and over again, our brain predicts that we want to do it again. The brain sets certain ways in it, in the neurons, connects certain neurons that easy the way to you to do something that you have already done. The more you do something repetitive, the easier it will get. That counts for everything, for exercise, for learning, for even bad habits like smoking every time you get stressed, or uh, becoming very aggressive and emotional every time while being confronted. These are patterns that your brain uses to deal with situations that it can't deal with in that moment. For example, the aggression thing that I mentioned. And while repeating something over and over again, you strengthen and reinforce a thought, a habit. Everything you do is just repetition. If you repeat to improve on your talking for a long time, you will get better at talking. If you go for walks and or jog for a certain amount of time, you will get better at these things. Everything we as human beings are capable of doing, we just repeat over and over again until we're able to have and do it the most efficient way without that much cost of energy. And that's the reason some people stick to these stick mindsets and won't ever change or want to change. In my opinion, every human being is able to change if he or she or whatever itself wants to fix or improve in their life. Nobody will change that doesn't truly want to change. Sometimes people also want to change and it's hard for them because of these repetitive patterns that they have done all their lives without pausing, and our brain functions in the way that it wants to repeat these patterns even though maybe you consciously know that something is bad for you, like smoking, vaping, or other in porn addiction. Basically, if our brain gets hooked onto something that then it won't easily let go of it. It's not like again, it wants to save the most amount of energy, and these pathways in our brain that lead to these kind of actions are already set. A person who never smoked a cigarette, drank a sip of alcohol, will never have the urge to do it, except it's a social pressure. But this person will never have the urge to do it in certain situations because it never had the ability to repeat it over and over again so that it could adjust itself to that. That's the reason why we have to, as human beings that want to improve themselves, basically, what I realized is to get out of our comfort zone. Many times this is used as an it's very inflationally used as a phrase to get out of your comfort zone, but many people don't really explain it the way you have to explain it. If you always comfort zone is not only the things that you don't want to do, like uh, initiating social interactions or things. It's also challenging your own beliefs to strengthen them further. You have to rethink things that you are basically sure of, that you were sure of about all of your life, and that you can't really trust them 100%, because the moment you trust something 100%, you should also consider this to my words. The moment you trust something, you're 100%, you take your ability away to go further on it. Someone who thinks that he has learned everything about a topic, he won't learn further. He won't be able to extend his knowledge because he has this fixed mindset that he already knows everything and that he doesn't have to go on. Some electrolytes, very important, especially if you're an athlete. And with that, I urge you people to, and I think this is something I also want to tell myself, that you don't fall into patterns, that you're not. It's basically also something to protect yourself, I think, because we all of us have this period where we do nothing, but basically we do just the same thing over and over again. Time flies by, we don't really realize it because we just let our body work at autopilot. And to work against this autopilot mode, you probably know it. Another example, but if you walk away that you have walked for a long time, that you know deeply, you know where to step and where to go, your body then is able to move automatically, and you string yourself in thoughts. But even though you're not consciously walking, sorry, even though you're not consciously walking the way, you still are moving the way you want to, even though common your main perception is in your mind thinking about something. And these habits or biases that you strengthen with repetition are really powerful and also really dangerous. On one hand, you can use them to discipline yourself, that you always go at a certain amount of at a certain time to train, that you always learn at a certain time. It's very powerful to implement something in your life and then do it over and over again if it's something that benefits you. But on the other hand, you are also able to implement something be uh, and be able to and be not able to get rid of that so easily if it's something bad. For example, drugs are something else entirely in that regard, but maybe you like to sit on your couch and doom scroll or watch videos every day. I don't think that watching media or videos you can discuss it by short form content, by reels, but in my opinion, it's not entirely bad to consume things. I think we as human beings have to do that, but it gets harmful the moment we let ourselves depend on that consumerism. The moment we only consume and don't create anymore. In my opinion, all of us should strive to confront ourselves, our beliefs, and everything we stand and think about, so that we are not going into a fixed mindset that doesn't allow us to go any further and improve any further than the way we are. I told you a quote a bit earlier. If you never have, if you want something that you never had, you have to do things that you never have done. And this is very important because you are the things that you do. And because of that, I wouldn't pressure myself in, I want to be this kind of person. I want to be this, I want to be that. No, you're not, you don't want to do, you don't want to be this person. You are this person. What I mean by that, it's a bit chaotic, but you can't always push the decision to you can't always push the decision to become something on the future. You actively have to decide in moments that are in the present how you want to be. If you always say, I want to quit smoking, and you never do something that initiates your quitting of smoking, then you're really just pushing the work further and further away until you say to yourself, I'm not able to change. Even though that's not true, you just pushed it away far enough. You push the idea away and away again until you yourself didn't believe anymore that you were able to do that. I hope that you could gain some you could gain something out of my ongoing talk. I'm sure that maybe I didn't address everything like I wanted to. Maybe I didn't explain everything that clearly how I thought I had explained it. If that is the case, feel free to ask me in the comments what I meant by a certain point, and I will try to answer you how as good as I can, because I know that I'm not the best, not teacher, but speaker yet, and that I sometimes lose myself in my stream of thought. And to improve that, I would like to hear your criticism, and I would also like to hear your experiences if you have some, and what you think about the things I just talked about. These just came to my mind recently, and I wanted to speak about them. Thank you very much for listening to me. See ya.